Hey everybody, so your musical kind of project this week is going to be using something called Songmaker in Chrome Music Lab. This is all online. You can access it through musiclab.chromeexperiments.com/experiments, or you can just follow the link that will be with the project when I place it on the Teams. But you're going to be writing me a song this week, the best song that you can come up with. And Chrome Music Lab actually has a lot going for it in this. There's going to be the regular project that I want you to do, and there's going to be kind of a bonus activity that you can do as well if you want to. So once you get to Chrome Music Labs, you're going to find this kind of smiley ghost face, and you're going to click on Song Maker. When that opens up, it's going to open up a grid on the screen. And you can see this grid across here. And if you look down, you can even see these kind of beats laid out below. So what you have here is you have 4 beats across 4 bars. So these gray areas are actually different bars of the song or measures of the song, whereas each of these vertical blue lines, the dark ones, are beats. And each of these beats is divided into groups of 2. So that gives me access to 16th notes across every measure. Or eighth notes across every measure, sorry. And I can create a song from this. So first of all, we got to know kind of all across the grid here. Down below, you have your play button. This allows you to select instruments. You can only kind of cycle through the instruments forward. So there's marimba, there's piano, there's strings, there's woodwind, there's synthesizer, and it takes you back to marimba. This area down here with the dots is actually a drum kit. You have electronic drums, you have blocks, you have a kit, you have a conga, and you can kind of select those into your song as you go. This bar right here is a tempo bar. This allows you to speed up or slow down your song. And then, of course, you have a mic, so if you want to record your voice, settings, undo. There's a lot going on in here. But I want to talk mostly about this grid for now. We're going to be doing something that's known as piano roll. So a long time ago, pianos used to have these things called player pianos. They would have pieces of paper with holes punched in it. They would run these pieces of paper through these pianos and would literally play the piano for you. It would just play a song. We use that technology, that idea of those dots, to create a digital thing called a piano roll. And I can do effectively the same thing. So if I wanted to write, for instance, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, I just have to know the parameters of my grid. So I know that this is a C. I know that this is a C. And I know that because I have C, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I start over again in another octave. That dark blue line there also tells me this. So if I wanted to do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, as it's actually written, I can't do all of that on here because it uses quarter notes, but I would have effectively this. I would click on a square. I would count up 5 to get to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Takes me into my next measure. I'm only going to go 1 up at this point to get to A. And then I have a long G. Now this will not hold G's. If I did this, it would just play 4 G's in a row, and I don't want that. I'm just going to leave the 1. And then I go down from there, just square to square, following that same pattern. And there we go. That's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Here's what it sounds like. Now I could change the instrument. I could make it on a piano or strings. I could speed it up, make it go super fast. The other thing about Songmaker is it's just going to loop, which means that when I get to this line right here and I'm done, it's going to go back to the beginning and play it again. And let's switch this. Let's go to synthesizer. You see it started over. I could then, since I have another octave, I could actually do the exact same thing up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have now the same song in 2 octaves. Or let's say I wanted to get creative, I could do the entire thing backwards. So I have Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and then I have what's called a retrograde of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, where it's the exact same song, just going backwards. Sounds like this. I mean, I could do all kinds of things. I could do a inversion where I took the song and I flipped it upside down. I could do a retrograde inversion where I took the song and flipped it backwards. All in all, I can do a lot of different things with this, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to move my head over here so you guys can see my restart button. I'm going to use the restart button to get a clean screen, and I'm going to make a new song. The task that I have for you is to make me a song, but the kind of bonus additional task that I have for you is to create me a Zimbabwean style song. The best one that I get, I am going to transcribe for Mbira. So I'm going to give you all the settings necessary to make a song on Google Songmaker that uses Zimbabwean style rhythms and notes and can create something that I can play on my Mbira. So to do that, the first thing I have to do is go to settings. When I click on settings, I get lots of options. I can change the length of my song. I can change the number of beats that I have in a song. I can change how much I divide those beats into pieces. I can change the scale style. I can change what I start on. I can give myself more notes and less notes. Mostly, none of that needs to change for you, especially if you're just writing a regular song just for fun. If you want to do a Zimbabwean song, there are a couple things you have to do. You can keep it in 4 beats per bar, but I want you to have the beats split into groups of 3. Zimbabwean music is done typically in 6 or in, in 6 or in 12. So grouping it in groups of 3 will give me 12, basically 12 subdivisions per measure. It's the same thing as having them in 12/8 at that point, effectively. And you need to change the note that you start on, because this Mbira Nyunga Nyunga I showed you, starts on an F, not on a C. So I'm going to choose middle F. Now, all of that's set, and when we go back, you'll notice I have a lot more dots, a lot more spaces to work with in here because I have so much more going for me. So I can do basically every note on here. Every single one of these notes are playable on the Nyunga Nyunga. If they're not, I can always change them. But I'm actually going to build for you guys a song that is actually a song used in Zimbabwean Nyunga Nyunga called Taireva. And I'm going to first create for you what's called the kushara, or the lead part for it. I'm going to fast forward through this because it's going to take me a little bit of time to put it all together, just because I got to remember what my notes are and all of that. But you'll see in a little bit what I mean by creating this song. And there you go. So that is the lead part for Taireva, the kushara part for Taireva. So if you look at it, it's broken into groups of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and just play this for you so you can hear it. So this is, I'm going to slow it down because it's much slower than this at this setting. I'm going to go ahead and play through Taireva. Now, one thing you'll notice about this song is that it is very little changes that happen that make it such a different sounding song. So in my first measure, you'll see what I've got there. But in my second measure, you'll notice all I did really was I changed. Sorry, I made a couple of mistakes here. Let me fix those mistakes I made. All I did was change these dark greens into light greens. And then I went back to exactly what I had written before. And then on this one, made some mistakes there. Sorry, I just realized I made a bunch of mistakes. On this one, I changed my starting notes, my kind of octave notes there, from what was a C to a D. So here's what Taireva is actually supposed to sound like. Hold on. Now, a very traditional way of doing a Zimbabwean song, doing the next part of this, which is something called the kutsinira, is to do exactly what you already have done, but just offset back by a single eighth note. So I would take all of this and basically duplicate it. I would have pretty much the exact same song, just offset a little bit. So for instance, if I was to do a kutsinira on this one, I would place here. This one is already, let me see, this one gets offset to here. This one gets offset to here. And I'm just basically duplicating everything just a little bit off of where it was. All right, so here it is with the Kushara and Kutsanira just slightly offset by one. And there we go. And that's it. And that created a large, if you didn't notice, that created a large change in the sound. So that's one easy way to do it, is just do the whole song with what are called groups of three, and then just offset everything just a little bit, just one beat ahead of time. And then I can get into drums. Why not? I have it. So I'm going to use a Conga drum. Traditionally, that is what you would use in Zimbabwean music. I'm just going to go kind of a very traditional Zimbabwean kind of accompaniment, which would usually be done in a house show. I'm going to do it with my conga. I'm just going to go low-high. So you'll notice that I did first just low-high, 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 low-high. That would be which is done on the house show. And I did a low-high-high. And then I reversed them just to kind of hear, and I'm going to pick which one I like the best. So I'm going to go ahead and play through Taireva with a little conga in it. So I liked the first grouping better myself. But this is a very straightforward 1,000-year-old Zimbabwean song done on Songmaker. Now, there's a whole bunch of other things that we would do if we were playing it on Yunga and Yunga. I would add variations, stuff like that. I'd play it for a very long time. I'd sing with it. But that's not our job right now. So that is one way to do it. As I said, you create a single song, and then you create a kind of an offset by one beat version of it. Now, I am going to ask that you do this. If you do decide to go that route, if you decide to do a Zimbabwean song for backup to see if you can win the competition and have me have to play your song, I'm going to ask that you stick with your original song. And what you're going to do is you are going to create a whole nother octave in the music. And the reason why I want you to do this is I'll be able to tell that one of those is Kushara and one of those is Kutsanira. I'll be able to look at it and I'll be able to say, oh, okay. So they wanted me to play this, and then they wanted me to play it offset by an eighth note. You could also just tell me that, but it would help me to be able to hear it, as you might guess. Finish clearing these off. I don't want to redo the whole thing. That would take me a significantly longer amount of time. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to ask me to do this inside of your settings, I want you to increase your range by an octave. So you have 3 octaves. You can see that gives me a whole bunch more space to work with. Okay, so you're going to do exactly what we just did. You're just going to do it here. So, and I should be able to fit this in. Let me see. Yep, so I can go here. So I have my song kind of working together, and what I'm doing is I'm simply going through and rewriting my song. So I'm going to take a couple of seconds to do this, and you'll see that I have the 2 different parts. And there you go. You saw that I had to move my head a little bit to make it visible. But this is exactly what I just did. It just split out. And I can very clearly see, as I look at this, one is Kushara, one is Kutsanira. I can see how they line up. And so this is what this sounds like with the 2 different ones. There we go. And that is how you write a Zimbabwean song with Songmaker. So again, if you want to compete for the best one, you just have to write me a song in Songmaker. Either way, you're going to write me a song in Songmaker and send it to me. You can export these by choosing Save. When you choose Save, it brings up a link that you can send to me, or you can download it. Download the WAV file anyway, send that to me. But if you're going to do the Zimbabwean one, you have to send me this link. Because what the link will do is it will show me your created piece rather than just me hearing it, and that'll allow me to more easily figure out if yours is the one that I'm going to do and how I'm going to transpose it. So you're going to write me a song in Chrome Lab. You are going to download the wave of that file, a wave file of that, this one right here. You're going to send that file to me either through Teams or through email. If you are competing to write the best Zimbabwean song, you're going to send me this link through email so that I can see that. I'm going to go ahead and download this WAV file and include this as a part of what I show you so you can hear it and kind of listen to the Zimbabwean style over and over again. So have fun with this. This should be a great project. Enjoy putting together your own songs, and I hope that you guys do well. Send me stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Bye.